How's it going, everybody? Wayne here. Today we have another lot of 8 games that we'll be checking out, and this is continuing checking out the lot of 34 games that we just recently got. As I was pulling these games out, I was looking at them, and a lot of these games are in near mint condition. And to find a whole lot in near mint condition, there are a couple that have some creases and stuff, but most of the boxes and games especially are just in near mint condition. And for the price I got them for and the condition they're in, I got a really good deal. And this will be the second episode of 4 for this lot. Let's check them out. And the first game we have up is Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th was developed by Atlas and published by LJN. It released for the NES in 1989. Friday the 13th is a survival horror game. The game takes place at Camp Crystal Lake. The ultimate goal in the game is to take out Jason Voorhees. Along the way, you'll be fighting zombies that pop up from the ground. You'll go into cabins to find clues, light fireplaces, and find weapons. There are 6 camp counselors spread across the map, and children located at the center of the map. During your quests, an alarm will go off letting you know that Jason is attacking another camp counselor or the children. You'll have to rush to their aid because you are on a time limit once the alarm sounds. When you get to the location, you find and fight Jason. Jason can also randomly appear on the map and fight you as well. The music in the game is dark and perfect for the gameplay. The controls are decent, but you'll want to upgrade from your first weapon, which is a rock, immediately. It's weak and you can toss it right over the enemies. Playing the game for the first time can be confusing, but you begin to realize there's a lot of strategy in the game that adds a lot of value to it. This game I'll eventually come back to and dig deeper into it. Friday the 13th is game number 24 for the collection. I'm not even joking, look at the condition of this thing. The next game we have up is Bases Loaded. Bases Loaded was developed and published by Jaleco and released for the NES in 1988. Bases Loaded is a little different than the first 2 baseball games we covered. The controls for pitching are similar, but the sprites and characters are much larger. You have more control pitching in this game, and you can actually prevent the other team from scoring. In the previous game, the computer teams were like all-stars. The batting in this game is where you really see a difference. The camera is still positioned at the pitching mound. After the ball is pitched, you have a lot of time to determine what kind of ball the pitcher threw. Although I like Bases Loaded more than Roger Clemens' MVP in Major League Baseball, it's not a perfect game. The outfielder experience is a bit challenging to get used to, and trying to figure out when to swing the bat is also challenging. Bases Loaded is a decent baseball game for the NES, but we still have a lot to cover. Bases Loaded is game number 25 for the NES Quest. Next up we have a really fun game, Super Dodgeball. Super Dodgeball was developed by Technos Japan and published by CSG ImageSoft. It hit store shelves in 1989. Let me start out by saying this game is a blast. So much in fact that I played all the way through it and beat the game for this review. Is the game perfect? No. The main downfall of the game is that the sprites flicker a lot, making it difficult to see where they're at or what direction they're facing. But that's the only real complaint I have of the game. Other than the glitchy sprites, the graphics are good. The music is upbeat and complements the gameplay. You travel around the world and challenge different countries until you are the champion. Unlike traditional dodgeball, you don't get an out when you get hit one time with the ball. You have a life bar. Once you get hit enough times and your life bar drains, that player is out. The controls are easy to master. You can throw, run and throw, power throw, and catch balls easily. Once you take out the 3 characters on the inner court of the opposing team, you move on to the next match. Once you beat all the teams, there is a surprise team you have to defeat, and then you beat the game. As much fun as this game was in single player, multiplayer would be amazing. I'm not a huge fan of sports games, but this game is one of the exceptions to the rule. Super Dodgeball is a game worth adding to your collection. And Super Dodgeball is game number 26 for the NES Complete in Box Quest. Next up, Jordan vs. Bird. Jordan vs. Bird was developed and published by Electronic Arts and released for the NES in 1988. Jordan vs. Bird offers 3 ways to play the game. You can choose from one-on-one, a slam dunk contest, or a 3-point contest. The one-on-one sets you up on a half court. This is just a one-on-one game between Jordan and Bird. You try to steal the ball and make the most points. It's easy to lose the ball if you have the fouls on. The ball turns over to the other player if you block, charge, or travel. Sometimes it's hard to avoid doing these things. In the slam dunk contest, you do different types of dunks and the judges give you points for how well you did on each. This is different than dunking on a one-on-one game. These dunks take more finesse with the controls. Finally, there is the 3-point competition. Here you have a time limit and try to make the most 3-point shots. The issue with this is that your balls will disappear if you shoot another ball before the previous one makes it to the basket. Jordan vs. Bird isn't my cup of tea. It's an okay game, but nothing great. Jordan vs. Bird is game number 27 for the NES Complete in Box library. Next up, a black box game, Kung Fu. Kung Fu was developed by Irem and published by Nintendo. It kicked out to stores in 1985. Kung Fu is a beat-em-up game. Kung Fu is one of those games that takes practice. The game is only 5 floors. Experts of the game can clear floors in less than a minute each. If you're a beginner of the game, you're slow and unable to get very far. If you get taken out 3 times in the game, you get a game over and start back at the beginning. Each floor gets more difficult as Thomas progresses towards the 5th level to save his girl Sylvia. Different enemies do different things, and you will need to learn their moves to defeat them. The controls feel sluggish. A punches, B kicks, and up jumps. I'm never a big fan of using the up button to jump. The graphics are okay considering the game released in 1985. Kung Fu is just a classic game that should be in your collection. Kung Fu is game number 28 for the NES Complete in Box Quest. Next up we have Airwolf. Airwolf was developed by Beam Software and published by Acclaim. It hovered onto store shelves in 1989. Airwolf is a helicopter shooter for the NES. It's based on a television show of the same name. Starting off the game, you get pulled back into active duty and you must rescue hostages. That's your main objective. The gameplay is a lot like Top Gun. In this game though, there are more planes attacking you and more missiles flying at you. The controls are inverted compared to Top Gun. Pushing up makes the plane go up and pushing down makes it go down. Through the swarm of enemies, you make your way to the hostage location. Once you get there, the screen changes to an outside view of the aircraft and you have to land your helicopter to rescue the hostage. There are other objectives you can do as well, such as destroy airfields. Doing this gives you points, but it's not required. Once you rescue the hostages, you just fly off the screen and that ends your level. If you fly too close to the borders on the radar, the game can glitch. I got stuck on the borders multiple times, unable to move and finish the level. I also found out that there's no pausing the game. If you need to take a leak, your helicopter will just be sitting there getting shot at because you can't stop the gameplay. The music in the game is pretty good, but the sound effects, not so much. All you get in the game is 3 lives and then it's game over. I don't think I'll be coming back to this game anytime soon. And Airwolf is game number 29 for the collection. Next up we have Eliminator Boat Duel. Eliminator Boat Duel was developed by Sculptured Software and published by Electrobrain. It sped onto store shelves in 1991. Eliminator Boat Duel is a speedboat racing game. This game is a little hidden gem for a racing game. To start off, the colors are vibrant and the game looks great all around. The characters are full of personality. I can almost hear what their voices sound like just by looking at them and reading the text. The gameplay is fun. There are 3 different styles of racing. There's a top-down view, a view from behind, and a side-scrolling view while drag racing. All 3 are fun. You get money whether you win or lose a race. If you win a race, you get significantly more money than the loser. You also get a trophy and a lady. The money can be used for upgrades and boat repairs. You can upgrade your engine, increase nitro acceleration, improve your hull strength, and enhance your steering. You'll definitely want to increase your hull strength because you can rack up damage during the races. Anything you hit damages the hull, whether it be logs, sharks, flags, or your opponent. The music in the game is great just like the graphics. The controls are perfect, and it's just a good game. It won't burn a hole in your wallet either. I'll come back to this game and play it more. Eliminator Boat Duel is worth adding to the collection. Eliminator Boat Duel is game number 30 for the NES Complete in Box Quest. And the last game we'll be checking out today is Bad Street Brawler. Bad Street Brawler was developed by Beam Software and published by Mindscape. It released for the NES in 1989. Bad Street Brawler is a beat-em-up game. You control Duke Davis as you make your way through each level, unarming enemies from their bats, knives, and chain balls. In each level you are assigned 3 random moves. It makes the game a little bit more interesting being able to switch moves each level. You have standard punches and kicks, but you also have moves where you can wiggle someone's ears to death, which is pretty funny. After defeating enemies, they drop their weapons. You can collect the weapons and throw them away in a trash bin at the end of each level for bonus points. The graphics are crisp and the game looks decent. There are a lot of bad reviews of the game out there, but it's really not that bad. The music and gameplay can get repetitive, even with Duke's moves changing each level. But I've played a lot worse games than this on the NES. I'm not saying Bad Street Brawler is a great game, but if you like beat 'em up games, it's worth giving a shot. It won't beat up your wallet either. And Bad Street Brawler is game number 31 for the NES Complete in Box Quest. And again, we'll be putting all these games on the shelf once we finish reviewing all 34 of the games. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe. I'll be collecting the entire NES library, complete in box, right here on the show. Also make sure to leave a thumbs up for Eliminator Boat Duel. Until next time, I'm Wayne, and thanks for watching.